Welcome back. The White House says U.S. President Barack Obama will announce Tuesday that U.S. businesses have committed to investing $14 billion in construction, clean energy, banking and information technology projects across Africa. Now, the blockbuster announcement comes on the second day of the first ever U.S. Africa Summit. VOA White House correspondent Luis Ramirez has more.
With 6 of the world's 10 fastest growing economies in Africa, President Obama believes it's time to change the way Americans think of the continent. He says Africa is ripe for U.S. investment.
We've made enormous progress over the last several years in not just providing traditional aid to Africa, helping countries that are suffering from malnutrition or helping countries that are suffering from AIDS, but rather partnering and thinking about how can we trade more and how can we do business together.
But on a Washington street, demonstrators protesting U.S. engagement with Ethiopia's leader are a reminder of the risks of attracting investment to countries ruled by corrupt and repressive governments. In channeling aid and investment, Africa analyst Jennifer Cook says the U.S. has to be careful not to abet the type of behavior it is trying to stamp out.
That is an enduring challenge, and the U.S. I think has to take measures to ensure that the assistance that it does give, whether it's in health or education or security, are not diverted and used to prop up political regimes. It's tricky to do, particularly in countries where the U.S. has security interests.
The summit focuses on trade, development, and peacekeeping, but there are no sessions specifically on rule of law and human rights issues. Analysts say inviting African leaders and then lecturing them would be bad form. Mr. Obama has addressed what he sees as the need for cultural changes in Africa. He told young Africans ahead of the summit they should respect traditions, but they shouldn't have to accept some of the old ways of doing things.
Now, I have to say there's some traditions that just have to be gotten rid of, and there's no excuse for them. You know, female genital mutilation, I'm sorry, I don't consider that a tradition worth hanging on to. I think that's a tradition that is barbaric and should be eliminated.
Among the sensitive issues is President Obama's condemnation of anti-gay measures in countries like Uganda, a strategically important U.S. partner. Relations with Uganda are suffering as a result of U.S. opposition to a tough law, now annulled, that would have imposed life sentences on some homosexual acts. Mr. Obama is having to find ways to convey his message without endangering partnerships, says Jennifer Cook.
The U.S. government really does need to be careful in how it engages on those issues, particularly the LGBT issue, lest it kind of deepen or feed into the narrative that African leaders and others may play if this is a Western-imposed agenda.
Moving beyond that perception is one of Mr. Obama's goals in Africa, as his administration seeks to engage the fast-growing continent.
Well, for more insight on day 2 of the historic U.S. Africa Summit, joining us live via Skype is VOA White House correspondent Luis Ramirez. Luis, welcome to the show.
Hi, Vincent.
Now, the question is, for many still, they will ask, why did President Obama decide to organize this summit the way he did?
Well, many reasons. One, I would say, is he believes it is time that the United States changes the way it sees, as I said in my piece, changes the way it sees Africa. He said Americans need to realize the importance of establishing and strengthening, more importantly, the relationship with Africa, where it is no longer one where the U.S. and Western nations provide aid, but rather engage and actually invest in helping African nations develop their own capacities, both in food security, democracy building, their infrastructure. And so it's about investment primarily. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that Mr. Obama is looking to leave a legacy. He came into office 6 years ago promising a new relationship with Africa, made visit to the continent, and this is as he approaches the final 2 years of his presidency, his way of making good on that promise.
Okay. Now, Luis, quickly, we know that there are over 50 or close to 50 presidents in town. Many of them would like to meet President Obama one-on-one. Will he be able to do that?
Not at all, Vincent, and that's one of the challenges of doing something as large as this, never done before. 50 heads of state in the capital city here. It's simply impossible in terms of logistics for the president, the U.S. president, to meet with each one of those leaders. And so the summit, the aim is to show them that as a continent, Africa matters to the U.S. administration, that there is a new intent to engage the continent.
Well, Luis, thank you very much for your reporting there. Luis Ramirez reporting live via Skype from the White House.